Hello, friends, and welcome to Lock 5 Fiber Arts YarnCast number 9. So far, I've got 3 Fridays in a row in the Fiber Arts studio, and I'm not going to be like dogmatically religious about making sure I'm in here every single Friday, but I do like ending the week like this, and it does keep me back, into the fiber arts world, at least on a regular basis. So it will probably be at least a staple in my diet. I may not get in here every single week, and it really just depends upon what life looks like, but I am going to try to make it a steady practice, besides the fact that I'm always actually working on stuff in the background. So one thing I set up last week, which I'm not sure I mentioned in the last YarnCast because I'm not sure I had done it yet. I set up a micro crochet live stream area here in the Fiber Arts studio, I guess you could call it, that I think is going to stay as a permanent fixture. It's easily moved if I really have to cut like large swatches of fabric, and it is so much fun. It's like an overhead angle of like a nice piece of gray suede mat board with all of my tools and my crochet hooks and findings and beads and everything, and you can just kind of zoom in real close and watch me work on whatever crochet project I'm working on. The micro crochet is really fun to zoom in close, and the micro crochet sort of feels like an escapist thing because, like Alice in Wonderland, all of a sudden everything gets really tiny, and I feel like I dive into a little world that is immune to the effects of what is going on around me and on the planet, and just kind of like, put on a little bit of blinders and get inside a cocoon of safety with the yarn and the beads and everything that I find like so fulfilling to work with. So I did not finish all the earrings. I didn't even finish but one extra pair, but let me show you. So these are still the earrings that I need to finish. But what I did do was I blocked a whole bunch of earrings I had made in the past, this pair included. Except for this pair way off here, this entire bottom row here, I blocked all of these earrings. And so that helps them to lay much flatter and like face forward the way you want them to without curling and looking weird, and will stay that way for like a long time. And I'm going to show you how I do that. I just take one of my blocking boards, and I mean, you could use anything, like they sell those tiles that you like can put together for your kids' playrooms or your gym or your garage or whatever. Anything like that would work. Any piece of styrofoam, really. You could probably take it out of a shipping container, a package that has styrofoam in it, and use that. But anyways, anything that you can like press pins into. Then basically I put the earring on there. I soak it fully with water, and I'll flip it and soak it again. And then I actually will spray it pretty thoroughly with hairspray on either side. And then I will pin it and put it to dry for the night. And then in the morning, they end up being pretty stiff. This one has actually been blocked before. However, it's been like flopped around and stuff. So if it needs a freshening up, you can just kind of repeat the process and it will go back to the way you want it to. So I really do like blocking earrings. I didn't used to do it at the very beginning when I made them, but now I feel like it's kind of a requirement for any earring that you don't want to curl. Certain earrings like these here, they have like a texture to them, a little bit of a three-dimensional texture, and these right here, you don't need to block them, I guess, really, because they're structurally like they're sculptural almost, so you don't really need them super flat. But any earrings that are meant to be super flat, unfortunately, won't stay that way unless you block them. What I did finish was I had this one was one of the mismatched ones that I hadn't made a second one to. But when I tried making the second one, it seemed like the tension was off and the earring was bigger, and I was like, I don't know about this. So I actually ended up making a practice pair, and yes, I made the complete pair. We figured out during a live stream, 20 minutes more, and I had another complete earring pair. So it's never worth not making the second earring, and I kind of like logged that for future reference. But once I had that sort of figured out, then I went back and I made this one. So technically I have 2 more pairs of earrings. Now, when I blocked everything, I noticed that these 3 pairs didn't have beads. This pair used to not either. These round ones I didn't make with beads initially for some reason. But I went back and added beads to these blue ones because I think they hang better. So what I want to do next, like the very next thing I want to do is I actually want to add beads to these 3 pairs, and I think that they will hang better. So that's the next goal. And then of course I will be trying to go back and figure out how did I make these earrings. And I have to find the patterns and all that sort of thing. Some of them I did find, some of them I didn't. So I might even have to contact the designer and be like, hey, remember I did a pattern test for you back in April of 2024? I need the pattern again. And they're usually really good to give it to you if you were a tester. So I went to make more pairs of earrings and I realized, oh my goodness, I don't actually have any more of the gold fisheye hooks. So I went online and I found some, and I was super excited to find some hypoallergenic, like sterling silver gold plated earring hooks for a really affordable price. So I am ready to go. I already had a bunch of silver ones. I didn't use a bunch of silver when I was doing my pattern test. I noticed I'd like used up all the gold ones, and there was only a few pair that I had done with silver. So I had to buy more gold, and also it just tells me I probably need to use more silver. So anyways, the person who designed a lot of these earrings is the same person who designed the Little Hands football that I tested last week and you saw. And she also designed this little clutch. And I just thought I would show it off as like a finished Friday because obviously there was a long time where I wasn't doing YarnCast, but I was still finishing projects and pattern tests and all that sort of thing. So I thought during some of these YarnCasts, it would be fun to pull out some of those and just show you things that I had finished in the last year that I hadn't really done much, but maybe post pictures of. So this is her clutch, and this is Wellstone Creations, and you can find her at wellstonecreations.com. She's on Instagram and Ravelry. And this is a great little clutch that fits your phone. I've got some gift cards in here right now. It's made of like a sturdy yarn that's like a cord almost. It's like a waterproof cord, and then I have got like a magnetic button on mine, but I really like it because I can throw my phone into it in the case inside of here, and then it can get like tossed around. I have this big Carhartt like tote bag thing that is my purse, I guess, and I can throw this in there and I know my phone is going to be safe. And even if I am carrying just the clutch with my phone, it can carry like my phone and like my little wallet that has like my license and my debit card in it, just a couple of small things. And then I don't feel like I have to carry a big bag around. So, and if I really wanted to, I could easily do like an I-cord handle and I could have like an over the hip type thing. So sometimes I think maybe I will do that. I didn't have a ton of the cord left. It was like down to the wire at the very end there. So I don't know, we'll see. But this is one of my favorite little things. And if you're looking for the pattern, it is a Wellstone's creation, and it's one of my favorites. The yarn is a little hard to work with, but it is so worth it because this thing is indestructible. If you would use like acrylic or cotton or whatever, it would actually deteriorate pretty quickly. This is not going to. This is going to last. So that's why I like this one so much. Besides, orange is my favorite color, and they had it in a bright orange, and of course I couldn't help myself. So what are you going to do? So speaking of Wellstone Creations, she is the genius behind the Calderwood stitch, and it inspired me to make like a cardigan out of the stitch. Now I've been so excited because I was going to be able to show you that I had the back panel done and the 2 front panels, and I'm like, I'm going on to assembly and sleeves, and I was so confident. And then I just decided to do like another check, and I realized something kind of important. My neckline is not accurate. It's way too high up. I need to actually start decreasing at the same space that I started decreasing at the bottom of the armpit. I love how this fits here. I do not love this. And so, so both of these are going to be frogged down to the bottom of the armpit, and then I will start decreasing the neckline sooner. So that was a little bit discouraging. I was like, are you kidding me? Of course, you can't design any crochet patterns or probably knitting without like miles of frogging. So I kind of expected it, but I had been doing so well up to that point that I was like feeling confident and a little cocky. So I decided, well, let's check in with the pattern that I had started writing, and it's not that great. I wasn't really good at taking notes. So I decided, okay, I need to like make another one and really be careful about taking pictures and writing notes as I go. And I made files on my phone, and I thought I'm going to start over, not over. I'm still going to finish this one. But as I am working on it, I need to know how to tell other people to make this sweater if I end up publishing the pattern. So I was looking through my stash, and remember, I said I really liked this heather, but I don't think I have enough. I only have 3 skeins of it. And in some of these colors, I only have 3 skeins. I have this in a beautiful red color in like 5 or 6 skeins, but I don't know. I wasn't necessarily feeling that color. So I was like, And I saw this Bernat Softy Cotton, and I thought, well, this could be fun for summer. Maybe I would like do a short sleeve version. I started making it up, and after the first row, well, first of all, I've got directions now and pictures and all kinds of good stuff for that. But after the first row, I was like, this is not going to be a cardigan. Like, there's no way I will wear a cardigan in this color. I don't know why I didn't see it here. And even after I balled it up, I was like, nope, we're good. And I kept going anyways. Yeah, no, there's no way I am going to make a cardigan out of this. However, all is not lost. I do think what I would make out of it and wear legitimately, because I'm trying to make things that I will wear, is maybe like a tank or a tee out of this. So like a short sleeve, like tank that has no sleeves, or a t-shirt type thing that it's not split down the front. So I do think that would be really cute, especially for the upcoming spring, summer weather. That would kind of get the basis of the pattern written for the cardigan. And even though it's a little bit different because this one has like decreases in the front and on the side and everything, this gets me writing out just the basic panels. So that's where I'm headed with this. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I just think I don't have enough of this yarn, because these are 312 yards per skein. And I think they only had 3 skeins, and I had another color that I really liked in a blue color, but I only have 3 skeins of that. So I think what I do is I end up buying like whatever they have in stock, because I'm like, oh, I love that color, I'll just buy what they have. But then if you go back and buy more, it might very well not be even close. So I will have to like take the skein back and compare it next to the other skein, and still probably make the panels out of different skeins, because you don't see a color change as much if it's panel to panel. Like, think about painting a wall. If you paint 1 gallon corner to corner, but then you get another gallon because you run out, you just paint corner to corner. If you paint in the middle of the wall, you're going to see the color break. But if the color break is at the corner, you really don't see it. Same thing with yarn. If your color break is like at the seam, it's a lot harder to see. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with these couple of colors that I have that I really like, that I don't know what to do with. I had 6 skeins of this. I don't know if it was on sale or clearance. I can't honestly remember. It's not really a color I would want to wear, but I could totally see doing like a summertime, like easy breezy tank top type thing. I don't know. So bear with me while I figure it out. All things creative are a work in progress, and usually it's a bunch of trial and error, especially with crochet. I feel like it's totally trial and error. So I did not get to the napkin dress this week. I meant to, I didn't. I talk about in my most recent Just Jenny Lee about imposter syndrome, and I was just having like a lot of anxiety this week, and I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I recording myself? Now, I don't know why I didn't just come into the Fiber Arts room and pick up my sewing machine. Well, not pick it up, but sit down at the sewing machine and just work on stuff, in spite of the fact that like I wasn't recording anything. Sometimes I'm finding now that I'm posting so much content that if I'm not recording myself making content or doing stuff or being creative, then I won't be creative. I won't pick up my crochet hook, or I won't pick up my paintbrush, or I won't come into the Fiber Arts studio because I'm like, well, I have to record myself, and that becomes like sort of obligatory, and I start to feel like a little bit under scrutiny, and I feel like, oh, I can't just make stuff anymore. I have to record myself making stuff. So I'm still like navigating this world of being an artist and creating content and documenting what I do while maintaining like a balance of personal space where if I am struggling with a panic attack or something, I can come in and work on something and not feel like, well, I can't go in and work on it because I don't feel like recording myself. So I think I probably could have made good headway on this week if I had just put aside the notion that I have to like document everything, because I don't. And that's just where I'm at right now. So it's a learning curve. I'll get there one day at a time, right? If you remember from last week, I had been working on a hooded cape from a like big Walmart throw, like the fleece throws, and it turned out really good. I was actually shocked. I couldn't bring it to show because I had to drop it off at the church on Sunday, and I only did the YarnCast on Friday. So between Friday and Sunday, it was made and delivered. However, I got requested to maybe make a tutorial, and they probably need more capes for this production than they have. So what I ended up doing was I ordered on Amazon a queen size black fleece throw that I'm going to try to recreate into another cape and do a tutorial. Now, the reason why I bought the queen size throw is because it was literally the same price as the twin size throw. And I thought, well, why buy something that's 60 by 90, which made it so that I had to like cut off a bottom and put it in the front when I could just have a huge 90 by 90 inch piece of fabric, right? So I am unboxing this now for the first time with you. They really get it vacuum sealed. So here it is, this big monstrosity. And I think for $20, it didn't really matter that I might have too much fabric. I can do something else with it. So the plan is to make a cape out of a blanket tutorial that I can share with the rest of the world. And what I did was I used basically bias tape. On the inside, I created like a space for a drawstring that kind of wraps around the neck and creates this hood. And I used a hoodie cord in order to tie it so that you don't need a clasp or anything like that. I don't have another one of those exactly because everything I have is cannibalized from other things, but I have a black shoelace that's pretty long with some aglets on the end, and that should work great for this one. So that is the goal for either the remainder of today or maybe sometime tomorrow during my Saturday afternoon with my husband. Maybe we'll work on it then because he is sort of my model for the cape anyways. So I think that is everything that I have going on in the fiber arts world this week. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you joining me, and I would love it if you gave me a like, a subscribe, a comment, a share. All of those things are super helpful to the algorithm in helping get my studio out into the world. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fantastic Friday and a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will catch you in the next video.